We've all been there. A business user comes over with what sounds like a tiny, super simple change for a piece of software. But if you've been in the game for a while, you know that beneath that simple surface, there's often this deep, fascinating technical puzzle. And today, we're going to unpack one of those puzzles.
So here's the request. And it seems perfectly reasonable, right? I mean, all the business wants is to apply its credit block policy with a little more nuance. They want to track everyone's spending, sure, but they only want to put a hard stop on these very specific combinations of orders and customers. It just seems logical.
And that's the classic question, isn't it? How hard could it really be to implement a rule that you can explain in a single sentence? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is way more complex than you'd think.
Okay, so the very first wall we slam into is the system's own limit. You see, the standard tools, right out of the box, they're designed for broad strokes, not the kind of surgical precision that this request demands.
Now this right here is the heart of the problem. Look at the left side. The business needs and logic. They need the system to check two totally separate things at the same time. But the standard configuration, over on the right, it's all built on OR logic. It's happy to block based on the customer's risk category, or it can block based on the orders type. It just can't handle doing both at once.
So that's the real takeaway here. It's the combination of rules that breaks the standard tools. The system just wasn't designed out of the box to handle this kind of multivariable matrix of rules. So to solve this, we have to get creative. We've got to go beyond the settings menu and find another way in.
And that other way in, well, you can think of it like a programmer's secret door. The whole trick is finding the absolute perfect moment in the system's process to inject our own custom logic without, breaking everything else.
And this brings us to what I like to call the gatekeeper concept. So picture the system's process like a high-security hallway. The original developers, being smart, built in these little checkpoints or gates along the way. These are special places where a programmer can put their own custom guard. And this guard, our little piece of code, can look at the transaction as it passes by and decide, hey, should I let this proceed as normal, or do I need to step in based on my special instructions?
And this lays it out perfectly. This is exactly where our gatekeeper goes. The user hits save. The system does its thing, runs all its normal standard checks. Then, and this is the magic part, right before the final decision is made, we hit our intervention point. Bam! Our custom code runs, it checks our special rules, and it tells the system what to do. It's only then that the system makes its final block or approved decision.
Okay, so we know where to put the code. But now the big question is, how do we write it? Because this is what separates a quick and dirty fix from a truly expert solution that's built for the future. Let's look at the two paths you could take. The brute force way is to just hard code the rule. I mean, the code literally says, if the order type is ZOR and the customer group is 01, then block. Sure, it works today. But what happens next month when the business wants to add a new rule? Well, you have to call a developer, change the code, test it, move it to production. It's brittle and a total nightmare to maintain. The smart way, on the other hand, is to build a separate control table. Think of it like a little spreadsheet where the business rules live. The code itself doesn't contain the rules anymore. It just knows how to read the rules from that table.
And this right here is the heart of that elegant solution, a central matrix table. It's just a simple configuration table that holds all the different combinations of business rules.
And here's what it looks like. It's so incredibly simple, it's beautiful. Our custom code just looks at the sales order coming in, finds the matching row in this table, and then just checks, hey, is the block active flag turned on? And the best part? If the business wants to change a rule tomorrow, they just come to this table and change it themselves. No developer needed. This is what we mean by building for the future.
But hold on. Just when we think we're done, just when we're about to pat ourselves on the back, a true expert asks one more question. They see the hidden dilemma that separates a good solution from a truly great one.
And here it is. Here's the catch. Remember the original request? They said they want to track the credit exposure, the total value of all the orders for everyone. They need their financial reports to be accurate. They just don't want to block everyone. And this creates this very subtle but absolutely critical conflict.
This is the million-dollar question right here. Our solution so far is designed to basically tell the system, hey, for this urgent order, just skip the credit check entirely. Okay, but if we skip the check, does the system also skip the step where it updates the customer's total credit usage?
And this slide just lays out the massive consequences
If we just skip the check, sure, the order goes through, which is great, but the system might never actually record that $5 million order value against the customer's account. And just like that, your financial reporting is completely wrong. The expert approach is totally different. It's about overriding the result, not skipping the process. We let the system run its standard check, we let it update the credit exposure value. Then, if the system decides to block the order, our custom logic jumps in at the very last second and says, nope, flip that status back to approved.
So that's the secret sauce right there. It's this elegant little move. You let the standard process do its most important job, accounting for the money, and then you surgically intervene just to control the final outcome. This way, the reports are accurate and the business rules are followed perfectly.
All right, let's pull all of this together into a consultant's toolkit. What are the big lessons we can take away from this whole deep dive?
So here's what to remember. First, always question those simple requests. Second, know that the real complexity is almost always hiding in the combination of rules. Third, design for the future with things like control tables, not brittle, hard-coded solutions. Fourth, and this is a big one, understand that critical difference between skipping a process and just overriding its result. And finally, remember this. True expertise isn't just about solving today's problem. It's about anticipating and solving the problems the business hasn't even seen yet.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Look around at your own work, at your own company. What seemingly simple process, what rule, or what little request might be hiding a fascinating, complex puzzle just waiting for you to solve it?